Hi again then guys, and welcome to another top 10 countdown for Gran Turismo Sport, this time counting down the top 10 most powerful cars in the game, at least as far as 1.19 goes in the timeline. And this is actually a re-uploaded video, of course, from earlier on today, because, as it was pointed out rightly so, there was one car that I completely overlooked. I went through all of the cars in the game, but my personal one I'd actually reduced the power on, so I overlooked it and forgot about it, but you'll see that one when we get into the list. So without further ado, let's kick it off first of all with 10th. And first of all, in 10th position, of course, we have the CHC Chevrolet Nova show car, which in fully tuned form is putting out 990 horsepower, which just edges out the other show car, of course, the Mach 40 Mustang. And when a list starts with 990 horsepower, you know you're going to have some pretty powerful cars here. Next up in 9th place, we have a supercar, which is quite often considered to be an underwhelming one in the game, the Lamborghini Veneno, with just 1 horsepower more than the Nova, which is enough to still bump it up into that 9th spot. Then in 8th place, we jump up over the 1000 horsepower threshold to the first Tomahawk to be featured on the list, the least powerful of the range, which is still a 1006 horsepower car, and that is of course the Tomahawk S. Next up in 7th place, we have currently the most powerful Ferrari in the game, still not quite as powerful as the FXX was in Gran Turismo 6, but for now, the 1036 horsepower LaFerrari is the flagship Ferrari in GT Sport. Next up we have the car which I completely forgot about when I was first making the list, but of course it deserves a place at 1089 horsepower, the Drift Spec Subaru BRZ, one of the most powerful import cars in the entire game. Next up in 5th, we have the Group X variation, and it does make a huge difference, of the McLaren Ultimate Vision Gran Turismo car. The Group 1 is powerful, but nowhere near as powerful as this one, the first car to jump over into the 1100 horsepower category with 1134. In 4th place, we have a car which, of course, is always going to be on any list involving power, the most powerful supercar in the game, for now at least, the Bugatti Veyron. In its original form, again, like with the LaFerrari, it's not as powerful as the closest thing to it on Gran Turismo 6, which was, again, the Veyron, but with around 1300 horsepower, whereas now you're looking at 1135. Moving up now into our final 3, we kick it off first of all with the GTS-R variant, of course, again of the Tomahawk Vision GT car, with a massive 1449 horsepower. Then for second place, which is a respectably high place for a car that isn't a Tomahawk, especially among the Tomahawks on this list, we see a return for Bugatti once again, but not with a Veyron. This is of course again the Group X variant of their Vision GT car with a massive 1626 horsepower. And last, but definitely not least, of course, is the ultimate car in the entire franchise so far, in fact, as far as power goes, the Tomahawk X, which, as its name suggests, is of course in Group X once again, and has a massive margin over anything else in the game. Even if the Red Bulls were brought back, like the X2010 or the X2011, which of course are the most powerful ones so far, they still wouldn't even be close to the 2586 horsepower of this car. And once again, that still isn't as powerful as it used to be on Gran Turismo 6, whereas on there you could give it an oil change and take it over 2600. But that's it for this countdown overall. Of course, you can check out tunes and reviews for most, if not all, of these cars, and of course stick around on the channel for more like this in the future. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.